First question for you. Why should anyone read it when they're so busy? Why is it so important to be focusing on social media?
Probably two things. First of all, social media is a given. As the web was a given in the early 90s, social media is here to stay. It's the easiest way for people to communicate, and they will use it. And you no longer control your brand. It belongs to the world. So it behooves you to pay attention and participate in that conversation. So it's a must that social media is here. You should measure it because it matters to your company and your product line, and you should read this book in particular so you can explain to your boss why you need the budget for the people. So this book puts it in context that you can go to your boss and say, if we measure these things, then we can determine which ones we should invest in and whether or not the investment is paying off.
But all the stories you tell, not just of sort of big companies, but companies of all types and sizes. Because I really found that in many ways it makes the content of the book so much more real. Because like, here's somebody who did this, here's somebody who did that. And that's another great way that I can take to my boss and say,
right,
point to something that is concrete.
Here's the thing about this book, and about my idea of web analytics and the eMetrics Conference and the Web Analytics Association. Anybody could tell a story about going viral. We did this great thing, and you know, we moved this button over here and suddenly everybody was tweeting about it. Well, that's great, you got lucky, but that doesn't teach me anything about how I can do it. How did you measure that? What did you test? How did you test? What's the repeatable process so that I can work hard, and the harder I work, the luckier I get?
I think you start off right with a bang, with the 100 ways in which you can measure social media.
Yeah.
If anybody doubted that this can be measurable, you start with a bang and then kind of builds on from here. If you want somebody who can bring years of experience and simplify this to a level that anybody can understand, that is Jim Sterne. My favorite part, of course, was that as I kept flipping through these books, to the pages, I kept getting new ideas that I hadn't thought of before. Like, I know that I use these clump of metrics already to measure certain facets of social media, but there were new metrics and new nuances that kept getting exposed to the way, and I have them sort of banked away.
This, well, simplifies it, thank you, and just puts it in context. It just discusses social media from a business value perspective.
Terrific. Thank you so much for the time, guys.
Thank you, Bryan.